Your Harley deserves respect, but too many riders unknowingly betray their bikes. Simple mistakes with oil, fuel, or tires quietly destroy engines, shorten lifespans, and strip away the roar you love. Don't let your Harley become another cautionary tale. Watch until the end, because missing even one detail could cost you thousands. Oil neglect starving the beast. Your Harley does not live on chrome, leather, or gasoline. It lives on oil. Oil is the lifeblood of every engine, and neglecting it is the fastest way to starve your bike to death. Riders often push an oil change a few hundred miles past the recommended interval, convincing themselves it will not matter. But every ride without fresh oil is a gamble. Dirty, broken down oil loses its ability to lubricate moving parts. Heat builds, friction rises, and metal grinds against metal. The outcome can be sludge-clogging passageways, overheated pistons seizing mid-ride, or a complete engine failure that costs thousands to repair. Think of it like ignoring your own blood pressure. You might feel fine for a while, but hidden inside, the damage is accumulating. A Harley that has gone too long without an oil change may still roar to life today, but tomorrow it could be coughing, wheezing, or refusing to start. The rider who skips routine maintenance isn't just saving money, they are signing a slow death warrant for their machine. That iconic V-twin, built to last for decades, can be reduced to scrap in a single season of neglect. So yes, oil is boring, oil is cheap, but oil is everything. To forget it is to forget the very pulse of your Harley. And yet, even the purest oil cannot save you if the fuel itself turns traitor. Fuel betrayal. When cheap gas wrecks legends. A Harley deserves better than bargain fuel. Many riders pull up to the pump and choose the cheapest octane, convincing themselves that gasoline is gasoline. That mistake might not explode your engine immediately, but over time it will betray you. Low quality or incorrect octane can cause knocking, tiny internal explosions that rattle your pistons, rob power, and strain the entire combustion cycle. What seems like a harmless way to save a few dollars at the pump becomes a slow leak in performance and a hidden tax on engine health. Imagine feeding a racehorse nothing but instant noodles. It might keep moving for a while, but you are stripping it of the strength it was bred for. Your Harley's engine is tuned for precision. Cheap fuel disrupts that balance, leaving you with sluggish acceleration, poor throttle response, and increased deposits that gunk up the system. In the long run, what you thought was thrift becomes the reason for costly repairs and shortened lifespan. The cruel irony is that many Harley riders prize power and sound above all else, yet some choke their machines at the very source. The right fuel keeps torque strong and the ride smooth. The wrong fuel steals both, mile by mile, until your legend feels like a sluggish shadow. You wouldn't water down your whiskey, why water down your ride? But performance isn't just about what goes in, it's about what rolls under you. If you're getting value so far, hit that like button. It really helps more riders find this video. And drop a comment below. What's the biggest mistake you've seen Harley owners make? I want to hear your stories, and your comment might help another rider avoid a costly disaster. Tire pressure, the silent killer beneath you. Few riders stop to check their tire pressure before every ride, but underinflated tires are a silent killer. A Harley is a heavy motorcycle built to glide highways and carve curves, but only if its tires are breathing properly. Tires are the lungs of your bike. Too soft and every turn becomes labored, every stop becomes dangerous. Low pressure creates uneven wear called cupping, eats away at tread life, and increases the risk of blowouts at speed. The tragedy is how preventable it all is. A simple pressure gauge can reveal whether your Harley is ready for the road or set to betray you on the next curve. Yet many riders overlook it, chalking up shaky handling to rough pavement rather than rubber gasping for air. Riders who run consistently low pressure often burn through a rear tire thousands of miles early, then wonder why their wallet feels light. Worse still, an unexpected loss of pressure on a busy highway can send both bike and rider sliding across asphalt. Neglecting your tires is not just a maintenance error, it is a gamble with gravity itself. A Harley may roar with authority, but that sound means nothing if the tires beneath you cannot grip, breathe, and respond. Your lungs demand air. Your bikes do too. And even if your bike can breathe, it won't matter if it cannot stop. If you're serious about protecting your Harley, don't stop with maintenance. We've prepared a list of gear and accessories that keep your bike safe, clean, and respected. Check the description. Brake neglect. The day stopping became impossible. Every Harley rider loves the feeling of acceleration, but too many forget the other half of survival, the ability to stop. Brakes are the heartbeat of the machine. Ignore them, and you risk not only your bike but your own life. Worn pads lengthen stopping distances. Old fluid boils under stress, leaving your lever soft and unresponsive. Rotors that are ignored too long warp and squeal, then finally crack under pressure. The result is simple. One day you squeeze the lever and the heartbeat is gone. Neglected brakes turn an ordinary ride into a roulette wheel. Maybe you will be lucky at the next stoplight. Maybe not. Riders who shrug off inspections, who convince themselves they can push another 1,000 miles on old pads, are rolling dice with their survival. The cost of new pads or a fluid flush is laughably small compared to the bill for repairs after an accident, or worse, compared to a hospital stay. There is no pride in a Harley that accelerates like thunder but stops like a runaway train. Real riders respect not only the roar but also the silence that comes after a safe stop. Your Harley's heartbeat depends on your willingness to maintain it, to give it the care it needs before the ride demands it. But what happens when the heartbeat is fine, yet the spark to start is gone? Dead battery, the spark that strands you. Nothing kills a ride faster than turning your key, hitting the starter, and hearing nothing but silence. A Harley can be spotless, polished to perfection, and fitted with chrome everywhere. But without a strong battery, it is nothing more than a two-wheeled statue. The battery is the spark of life, the small yet essential beating heart that turns raw metal into a roaring machine. Riders often underestimate it, letting terminals corrode or letting the bike sit for weeks without a tender. The result is a dead battery that leaves you stranded miles from home or embarrassed in your own driveway. The truth is simple. Batteries hate neglect. Short rides that never fully recharge them, cold weather that drains their strength, or parasitic draws from accessories can all add up. Over time, capacity fades, leaving you with a starter that struggles or fails outright. A replacement battery costs far less than a tow truck, yet too many Harley owners refuse to act until it is too late. Picture rolling into a rally, the air buzzing with exhaust and music, only to watch your bike click uselessly when it is your turn to fire up. That is not just inconvenience, it is humiliation. A battery is not glamorous, but it is the single most decisive factor in whether you ride or you walk. But even a charged bike can betray you if the drive system itself snaps. Chain and belt neglect, the invisible time bomb. If the battery is the spark of life, the chain or belt is the silent handshake between your Harley and the road. Neglect it, and that handshake turns into a broken promise. A loose chain can whip and slap, wearing down sprockets. An over-tightened belt can strain bearings, leading to premature failure. And when either one finally gives way, it is not a gentle failure. It is violent, catastrophic, and potentially life-threatening. A snapped chain can lock your wheel mid-ride. A broken belt can leave you stranded in traffic, pushing a machine that weighs nearly 900 pounds. The danger is compounded because these systems degrade slowly, almost invisibly. You might notice a faint whine, a little vibration, or an odd noise, but dismiss it as nothing. That is how riders miss the warning signs until one day the tension is gone, the power is cut, and control disappears. What could have been solved with a 10-minute inspection becomes an accident waiting to happen. Think of it like walking across a bridge you know is missing bolts. It might hold today, maybe even tomorrow, but every crossing is one step closer to collapse. Chains and belts are humble, often overlooked, yet they carry every ounce of torque that your Harley produces. They are the handshake that keeps you in motion, but even if the drive holds, What if no one can see or hear you coming? Deadlights and silent signals. Your voice on the road. Riding without working lights is like shouting into the wind with no voice. Every bulb, every blinker, every headlight beam is part of your Harley's voice on the road. It tells the cars around you that you are present, that you are stopping, that you are turning. Lose that voice and you become invisible. A dead tail light can mean being rear-ended at a stoplight. A missing turn signal can confuse drivers and cause a dangerous collision. Even something as simple as a dim headlight reduces your visibility at night, making every mile more hazardous. The tragedy is that electrical checks take seconds. A quick walk around before riding can reveal whether your Harley is speaking clearly. Yet too many riders ignore it, assuming their lights are fine until the day a car swerves in front of them. The cost of ignoring it is not just a ticket from law enforcement, it is a crash that could have been prevented with a bulb change or a fuse replacement. Every Harley owner takes pride in the sound of their exhaust, the deep rumble that announces their arrival. But just as important is the silent conversation carried through flashes and beams of light. Without them, you are not just muted, you are silenced. And even if the world sees you, a bad cover can still scar your Harley forever. Cover catastrophe, when protection turns to poison. Many riders believe that covering their Harley is the ultimate act of care, a way of shielding it from dust, rain, or the gaze of strangers. But the wrong cover can become a hidden enemy, a sandpaper blanket rubbing against your paint with every gust of wind. Outdoor covers that flap in the breeze can leave fine scratches etched into your tank and fairings. Cheap materials trap moisture underneath, turning a shield into a greenhouse of corrosion. What was meant to preserve your bike's beauty slowly erodes it instead. Indoor covers can be just as dangerous when used incorrectly. Stretching a tight cover across chrome can leave scuffs. Parking a freshly washed bike beneath a non-breathable fabric traps condensation that eats at bolts and spokes. Riders think they are protecting their investment, but in reality, they are accelerating decay. The saddest part is how long it takes to notice. By the time you remove the cover after a season, the damage is done. A Harley's paint and chrome are more than decoration. They are identity. They tell the story of pride, tradition, and respect. When a cover scratches or corrodes that surface, it is not just metal that suffers, it is reputation. A cover should be chosen carefully, used wisely, and checked often. Because if the very thing meant to protect your Harley becomes the source of its scars, you have betrayed it without even knowing. And if the cover hurts it, wait until you hear what your own cleaning habits are doing. Pressure washing. The fire hose on jewelry. A Harley may wear grit and grime like badges of honor, but eventually every rider wants their machine to shine again. The temptation is obvious. Roll it into the driveway, fire up a pressure washer, and blast away the dirt in seconds. But pressure washers can kill more than dirt. They can kill the very soul of your bike. What looks like harmless water jets are in reality tiny spears of force that pry past seals, force moisture into electronics, and strip protective finishes. Your navigation system, your speakers, even the delicate wheel bearings can be ruined by one careless wash. Imagine using a fire hose on jewelry. Yes, the diamonds sparkle briefly, but the settings loosen, the delicate engravings blur, and the integrity is forever compromised. That is exactly what happens when you unleash thousands of pounds of water pressure on a Harley designed for rain but never for that kind of abuse. The chrome may gleam afterward, but inside wires are corroding, bearings are rusting, and seals are slowly breaking down. The cruel irony is that a rider who thought they were caring for their bike is instead accelerating its decay. Proper care is about patience, soft cloths, gentle rinses, and the right tools. A Harley deserves time, not shortcuts, and that's nothing compared to what cold water on hot steel can do. Washing hot, cracking the iron. It seems convenient. You return from a long ride, your Harley is coated in bugs and dust, and the car wash is right there. You park, grab the hose, and spray down the bike immediately. What many do not realize is that spraying cold water on blazing hot metal is like plunging a runner into an ice bath the moment they cross the finish line. Steel and iron rotors, heated from friction, are suddenly shocked by cold water. The result? Warped discs that no longer run true, pulsing brakes that jerk with every stop, and uneven wear that demands costly replacement. Harleys are built tough, but no metal is invincible against sudden thermal shock. Even the paint and chrome can suffer microfractures when blasted with icy water while still hot. Riders often notice later when the smooth stop they once trusted becomes jittery and uneven. That moment of impatience, spraying instead of waiting, can create a permanent weakness. This mistake is especially tragic because it is born from eagerness. The rider wants to keep their bike clean to show pride in their machine, yet the very act of rushing to preserve beauty destroys performance. A Harley needs to cool before it can be cleansed. Think of it not as a burden but as respect. Let the iron breathe before you wash it. But soap and shine can be just as dangerous when they're the wrong kind. Chemical sabotage, when cleaners destroy. A spotless Harley is a thing of beauty, and shelves of cleaning products promise quick perfection. Yet some of those bottles carry hidden poisons, degreasers that strip grime too aggressively eat away at protective coatings, turning black wrinkle finishes ashy gray. Armor. All on tires or seats makes them shine, but it leaves them slick, unstable, and unsafe. Rubber treated with the wrong chemicals dries faster, leading to cracks and premature rot. Seats laced with slippery residue can betray a rider in a sharp turn, sliding them sideways at the worst possible moment. This is the slow acid burn of chemical sabotage. It is not instant destruction, it is gradual betrayal. A Harley may look showroom ready after the first application, but weeks later the finish dulls, the tires harden, and the bike becomes less safe. The very tools bought to preserve become silent destroyers. Proper cleaners are essential, but they must be chosen with care. Motorcycle-specific soaps and conditioners exist for a reason. They clean without stripping. They protect without making dangerous surfaces slick. Riders who reach for whatever is under the sink risk trading pride for peril. A Harley should gleam, but never at the cost of its health. And even if your bike looks spotless, parking it wrong can still kill it quietly. Bad storage habits. Suffocating your Harley. A Harley is more than a ride, it is a companion. But too many riders treat it like a tool that can be put away without thought. Parking directly on concrete for months flattens tires where the weight rests, leaving permanent scars. Letting the bike sit idle without running or charging invites condensation into the oil, corrosion into the tank, and a dead battery that greets you with silence when spring arrives. Covering it in a damp garage without airflow suffocates chrome and bolts beneath a film of moisture. This is suffocation, a tomb with no air. The motorcycle waits patiently, but its spirit weakens. The first ride after neglect is often a disappointment. Tires wobble, brakes squeal, the starter hesitates. The damage has been done not by riding, but by not riding. Harley-Davidsons are built to be used, not abandoned. A bike that runs regularly circulates oil, keeps the battery alive, and shakes away moisture. A bike left too long in stillness becomes its own coffin. The saddest truth is that most riders never notice until it is too late. They pull the cover, see the dust, and only then realize their mistake. Proper storage means planning. Tire stands, trickle chargers, breathable covers, and occasional rides even in the off-season. A Harley is not just a machine, it is a living legacy. Starve it of air and movement and it dies silently in the dark. But all this neglect adds up to something far bigger than one garage. It reshapes wallets, culture, and even Harley itself. The wallet drain. How neglect bankrupts riders. Skipping maintenance always feels like saving money, until the bill finally arrives. A Harley can run on borrowed time, but every skipped oil change, every ignored squeal from the brakes, and every overlooked battery test builds a debt that will come due. A seized engine from dirty oil can cost several $1,000s to rebuild. Replacing warped rotors from careless washing may wipe out an entire month's wages. Even a set of prematurely worn tires drains hundreds of dollars that could have been saved with a pressure gauge and 2 minutes of care. The hidden cost goes beyond repairs. Neglect shreds resale value. A Harley with service records, fresh parts, and clean finishes sells for thousands more than one with a suspicious rattle and a fading finish. Buyers know when a bike has been loved, and they pay accordingly. When you neglect, you are not just losing money in the shop, you are losing money at sale. It is a cruel twist that the rider who thought they were saving $20 by skipping a maintenance appointment may end up losing thousands in value. The numbers do not lie. Neglect drains wallets faster than any dealership could. Riders either pay small bills consistently or bleed financially in sudden shocks. But this isn't just about money. It's about what it means to call yourself a Harley rider. Betraying the Harley identity. A Harley is more than a machine. It is heritage, it is rebellion, and it is pride cast in steel. Owning one is not just about horsepower, it is about belonging to a culture that stretches back generations. To neglect your Harley is to disrespect that identity. Riders talk about freedom, about loyalty, about the bond between man and machine. Yet those words ring hollow if the chrome is pitted, the tires bald, and the engine choking on neglect. This betrayal goes deeper than appearances. A Harley left dirty and uncared for sends a message to the community. It says the rider wants the badge of belonging without the responsibility of respect. Veterans of the road see it instantly. The rumble of a neglected Harley is hollow, its voice diminished. Pride in the ride is not measured in horsepower. It is measured in care. To betray that care is to fracture the bond that defines Harley ownership. The machine gives its best only when the rider gives back. The fuel, the maintenance, the polish, all are part of the ritual that keeps the legacy alive. Without them, a Harley becomes just another machine, stripped of soul, and when one rider neglects, the ripple spreads across the whole community. Community and labor, the pushback. When riders neglect their Harleys, the impact is not limited to one garage. Service departments feel the absence. Dealerships rely on regular maintenance visits to keep technicians employed and skilled. When owners skip care, union mechanics lose hours, dealerships lose revenue, and the network that supports riders begins to thin. Every skipped service starves not just the bike, but the people who make a living keeping it alive. Labor voices have long warned that widespread neglect undercuts skilled trades. Mechanics are not just wrench turners. They are craftsmen who understand the heartbeat of a Harley. If fewer riders come in for scheduled service, fewer apprentices are trained, and the depth of knowledge shrinks. Over time, entire communities that depend on Harley dealerships for jobs and identity begin to suffer. This pushback is not just about money, it is about dignity. The Harley world has always been built on respect between riders and the people who keep them rolling. Neglect fractures that respect. When one link in the chain weakens, the entire circle wobbles. What starts as an individual choice grows into a collective strain, and when the community shakes, the global motorcycle market feels it too. If you've stayed with me this far, you clearly care about protecting your Harley. So take a second and subscribe. You'll never miss the tips that keep your ride alive. New videos are coming with even more hidden truths, and trust me, you don't want to find out too late. Subscribe now and ride smarter. Global impact. Harley's reputation on the line. What happens in your garage does not stay there. It ripples out to the world. A neglected Harley sold on the used market tells buyers across continents that the brand does not age well. A poorly maintained bike becomes a rolling advertisement against Harley-Davidson, feeding competitors who promise reliability and ease. When too many riders treat their machines poorly, the collective reputation suffers. Lower resale values echo in every dealership. International markets watch closely, comparing Harley to Japanese or European rivals. If the perception grows that Harleys are fragile or short-lived, sales decline not because of engineering but because of owner neglect. The brand that once stood as a symbol of endurance risks being seen as a relic. Global competition is relentless, and rivals are eager to claim riders who lose faith in Harley's durability. This is why personal maintenance choices matter. Every rider contributes to the story of the brand. A Harley cared for is a Harley that commands respect worldwide. A Harley neglected is a blow against the very identity that riders cherish. So the final question remains, one only you can answer. Are you caring for your Harley or slowly killing it? Every Harley tells a story, but it's up to you whether that story is pride or regret. If today's video opened your eyes, hit that like button and share it with another rider who needs to hear this. Drop a comment with your own experiences. I read everyone. And don't forget to subscribe, because the next video could be the difference between protecting your Harley's legacy or watching it slowly disappear. Stay sharp and ride safe.